Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll show you my portfolio. As you can see, my investment portfolio is sitting around on $74,050. $74,050 right now. So as you can compare with the last video, it has increased. And we all know that right now the stock market has heading up. It seems like a bull market is still going. And we can see that because on the last few days we have seen gains after gains after gains, day after day after day. So as you may remember, also I discussed in the last video that if we cross this line, the resistance line, then we might see a bull market, but it's an sketchable market because, as I said before, there are certain things that we need to consider it, that given the different events that are happening right now, it has to be a correction at some point. And also, when I show you the chart on the monthly, it seems like a bubble. So this bubble, we don't know at what point it's gonna burst. But I mean, let's stay positive. Like we can still see keep going up with some corrections in the meantime. But it seems that it's gonna continue for the following weeks or months maybe. So this is a weekly, as you can see. I usually use monthly, weekly, and daily, but weekly for me is my favorite because it gives me a better idea of how it's going to behave in the following days. So as you may remember, the last video I told you, if it crosses the resistance line, then we can see, I can have a better idea of where the stock market is going to head. So it seems that it's going to continue this bull market for a few weeks or maybe months, we don't know yet, but you can still make some investments. You just need to be cautious. Just buy those stocks that you feel confident that are gonna be good on the long term, and those that are really cheap. So if we keep pay attention to the monthly, as I said before on the last video, it has reached those levels like in the 2021 December 21, and then we had a correction after it. We have amazing gains weeks after weeks, and then suddenly we have a bear market. So we reached that level, and it seems that it was almost going to get the bear market again, but it seems that it's going to continue a little more for weeks or maybe months. We don't know yet, until there's going to be an event that is going to make sure that we have the correction that we're waiting, or that it should be healthy for the stock market to have some correction. So as you can see, it reached for almost 3 consecutive months, the red ones, or maybe two. I cannot see clearly exactly if it's a green or a red one, but it's still kind of neutral. But we might see, as I said, some more gains in the following days, weeks, or maybe months. But still, this looks like a bubble right now. And once it bursts the bubble, then we're gonna see a correction or a bear market, or maybe a crash market. But let's not think that about it right now. But if we pay attention right now to the also the daily, we have 5 consecutive green days, no, 6 consecutive green days, and then one red one, and then 2 more green days. So now this line, since we cross it, it might be now as a support line, which might see small corrections, but then heading up. So we can ignore this line that I was telling you, that it might give you an idea that if it doesn't cross it, then it's gonna go below. But it crossed it, so now we'll see what is gonna be the new ceiling. At this point, the new ceiling might be the 630, and that's when we need to be cautious about it. Now we take a look now at my investment portfolio. It doesn't change that much, but Nvidia and TSNs are my biggest right now, about 3%, making huge gains. Then I have Broadcom, Apple, Builders First Source, Coinbase Global, Salesforce, ASML, and Microsoft. Those that are about 2%, and almost all of them have gains. with the session of BLDR, but if you remember the last video, it was like a 8% down, so now it's on 1% down. Then we have other stocks that have been doing really well, like Google, which is one of the cheapest one right now, based on my analysis. Meta. Then we have Chipotle, Uber, NU, BICI, which is a real estate stock. Then we have Robinhood, which is wow, one of the stocks that I bought at a really low price, and then you can see I not only double but more than that. And we have huge gains on that one. We have American Express, also huge gains. MBIS, also huge gains. Um, then we have Mara, which is a crypto stock. Then we have NEE, which is an energy stock, and Grab, which is similar to Uber, but and INDI, yes, which is in the red. But these are about 1 and below 2%. Those are stocks that I consider that I might increase my positions, with the exception maybe of INDI and Mara, because I need to. Mara might be a good options, but INDI is not sure right now. I need to take a look at the financials and what is the performance during the past uh, few months. Based on those, I will make my decision if it's worth it to increase my position. But so far, those that are the greens are the ones that I'm more confident. And even though Mara and Coinbase are have the similar business related with crypto, I already have enough crypto, and I will show you that I even have more than that. But those are between my 2 and 1%. Then if we scroll down, we're gonna see uh, Grab, which is below 1%, Sound. Then we have OKE, Tesla, OPTT, AMPX, PGR, and KULR, and UNH, or United Health. So these are my stocks below 1% that are kind of risky, but at the same time can have huge potential. With a session probably right now with PGR, which is not that risky. But I'm just still taking a look at those stocks that if I might increase my position. And I did it with, for example, KULR. Um, and I'm also thinking about AMPX. Those are 10 stocks that has huge potentials to keep growing up. So that's why I'm gonna keep taking a look at my analysis on these stocks and see if I'm gonna increase my positions, because those are risky. So those are the ones that I believe that can give me more gains, but my analysis on that one are gonna be considered also based on how the stock market behaves also in the following weeks. Now we have ETFs. I told you before I have crypto exposure. So right now, what I think is that crypto still has more potential to keep going up. So that's why I'm just holding my positions right now. Bitcoin ETF being around almost 15% of my portfolio. Then we have the treasury bonds of the 20 years. Right now, almost 7% of my portfolio, and is with some losses. Then I have SOXL, which is semiconductor ETF, doing pretty well, almost 40% up. Then I have BIXY, that used to be like you remember the last video, probably 7%, and now I just lowered it to almost 1.5%. Just keeping the minimum, because since it's technically a bull market, I'm gonna stay with a low exposure to this particular ETF that usually gives me more profit when we have a correction or a bear market. But right now, it doesn't seem like that, so that's why I decrease my exposure. And then I have CONY, which is a Coinbase ETF. Right now, you can see the 44% down. Wow, it's way too low, but it's just 1.24%. It's not that much. And also, I have my dividends, and those dividends offset all the losses over here. And since I believe that Coinbase is gonna have, uh, it has potential to keep growing and keep getting more gains because of Bitcoin and because of crypto in general, that it has more potential to keep growing. I'm just gonna stay with this ETF. I know at some point it's gonna keep increasing, and also with the dividends, is enough for me to just see the growing and through the value and the dividends. And all of that, you can see that is 37,000 of stocks and almost 22,000 on ETFs. Now, if I scroll down, I still have $15,000, which is 20% of my portfolio in cash. So I can increase my position in some stocks that I believe that are affordable, that are a fair price. I had a fair price, that the right word. That has a fair price that I can keep investing and not overvalue, because I don't want to get into that trap of just buying high and selling low. So that's why I'm just gonna keep my position in cash too, and all of that makes $74,050, which is more than what I have in the last video. And we take a look right now of how my portfolio is doing. Right now, since January 1st, you can see that I have 15% in gains. 15%. Now we compare that one with the SPY, is right now 6.96% up, almost 7%. So we compare it with the 15, it's like an 8% of difference. I'm beating the SPY right now, so I'm really grateful that my decisions on the investment are doing really well, and I'm gonna keep increasing my positions in some stocks that I believe has more potential, but those are gonna be based on how the stock market performs during the following days. So far, I'm thinking about Apple and Google, the ones that need a little more exposure, because if we take a look at a PPL, sorry, a there you go, a PL, there you go. So I bought this stock really low over here. I mean, it can be, I could have get it a little lower, but I saw a huge potential around here. So then I can see the gains. It broke this trend. So when it broke, then I increased my positions. Right now it has another resistance line, as you can see, comparing with the other highs over here. But if it breaks this resistance line, then we're gonna have more potential on this Apple stock. So far, as I said, I get it at a good price, a good deal. So now I'm gonna continue taking a look how the stock market behaves, Apple behaves, and then make my decision if I'm gonna increase my positions. But so far, as you can see, Apple 8% up, which is good for me. 197. Let's see, 197 is over here. 197. You see? So I got it at a really good price. So this is one of the stocks that I'm still considered to just cost average, and Google is another one. Another resistance line over here, comparing with the last high value. Once it crosses, then it can give you a better idea that this has more potential. If we take a look at the weekly, also you can see that both indicators are showing that it's on the greens and it has potential to keep going up. So it's not overvalued, it's just in a fair price. Same thing with Apple, you can see on the weekly. That's what I love about the weekly. It shows that it's a really underperformed stock, so it has potential. It barely already reached the green bar, which is gonna give you a better idea that this stock has more potential, and it hasn't even reached the all-time high, which is around 257. But as I said, yes, those are my ideas. Are my analysis. This is not a financial advice. Just showing you what I've been doing in the last few weeks, even months, and how my portfolio is beating the stock market for about 8%, 15% mine, and 7% the SPY or the stock market. So thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.